So brothers from GmsTampa Bay. First and foremost, we want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, Ba'ashem, us. Double honors to the elders, apostles, great millstone. Much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out his truth and his truth and sincerity. And want to do a quick lesson. Lord's will, this is an edifying video. On comments that were made earlier this morning by Putin. All right. Also, I'll read a couple lines here and there from a couple articles from other, from sources outside the scriptures, from people who've spoken about what Putin said, because hey, we coming into the time, man, where judgment is going to be rendered upon the earth. And if you're not watching, if you're not paying attention to what's going on in the world, which is the majority of the people on the planet Earth are lollygagging, they're settled on their lees, okay? And what's getting ready to come is the flood of fire, and it's going to sweep these people up unawares, man, okay? So, if a brother wants to grab Habakkuk chapter 2 to start off with, book is sharp.
Habakkuk chapter 2, we'll start at 3. Habakkuk 2 verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie."
Yeah, the vision is yet for an appointed time, and in the end it shall speak and not lie. And right now we are in the last days, and the vision of the judgment that was going to take place at the end of the world, okay, the end of Esau's world, all right, it was for an appointed time, and now we're seeing that vision coming clear, okay, and it's becoming clear unto the wise. A lot of fools out there might say that missiles don't exist or this and that, and then that's not going to happen in our lifetime. Okay, well, we're going to see about that, but nonetheless, the judgment that Armageddon, as people like to say, okay, the end of the world, all right, this is getting ready to blast off, no pun intended, with World War III here coming soon, man. All right, your boy Putin getting the draft in order, all these other nations arming each other up. Russia again. Putin said that they need to spend more money on weapons manufacturing. Okay, all right. So things are moving on upon the earth, man. Remember the scriptures say the way of man is not of his own, but the Most High who directed his steps. So the Most High is the orchestrator of everything that's going on. Scriptures also say, shall there be an evil done in the city, and the Most High have not done it? Roughly paraphrasing. See, the destruction is getting ready to come. This is coming from on high, man. All right. This is why the scriptures say, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord." Unto what end is it for you? Because you don't understand what's coming in the day of the Lord, man. You're thinking that the Lord's coming with hopes and dreams, but there ain't no hopes and dreams in this society. Well, there's plenty of dreams, but there ain't no hope for you people, man. Your best hope is that you die quickly and soon, because you don't want to be around when things start to get let off into the skies, man. When the windows upon high open up, you don't want to be around when that time comes. See, the elect, we want to be around in that time. There's no greater joy there than to see the downfall of our enemies, man. Okay. Get your precept.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will.
Yeah, there you go, man. The king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. So the Lord is putting them in the mouth of these rulers to say what they would say. You got Putin talking his smack. Then you got Zelensky talking his smack, talking about that they ain't gonna bully the world. And then of course you got creepy Joe Biden with his rhetoric, his nonsense about how they ain't gonna do anything. Well, hey, Ezekiel 38 says that the Lord is putting his hooks in this man's jaws and turning him back. Turning him back to what? His old ways. Okay? Of that Russian Federation power, man. Which I believe, if when you go into it, Vladimir means victory or something along those lines. Okay? Putin has that spirit of war on him, man. Okay? He was a spirit created for vengeance. And he's getting ready to show y'all that here very soon, man. Go ahead. No, go back to that.
Habakkuk 2 verse 3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it." Right? We have been waiting, man. All right, we have been waiting. You know, each prophet come back in a reincarnation, however amount of many years, however amount of many times. When Yahweh was on the scene, the disciples asked him about all this time to restore the kingdom of Israel. All right, because at the end of the day, it started when Yahweh all right, came on the scene, and ultimately when when he gave the spirit. All right, that started at the end of the last days. Okay, the end of days. But now we're at the end of the last days. So we've been waiting for it. So now we waited for it. Hey, wait no more. Okay, because now it's here. All the things that we prophesied of from elders on down is now taking place right now. We're at the brink of a nuclear war, more severe than a Cold War. All right, this is it. All right, the implementation of the digital currency is all happening at one time. So wait for it because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So it's no longer tarrying. All right, the wait is over. All right.
Lord said, in Isaiah 55, his words shall not return unto him void. Though they tarry, wait for it. Okay? And yeah, they were for an appointed time. So yeah, it might not happen now. It might not happen 40 years from now, from when these precepts were said and written. Okay, but what? Now is that appointed time. Now they come to pass because now is the time of judgment. Now, as we read in Second Esdras chapter 9, it is the very same time wherein the highest shall begin to visit the world which he made. And we've seen the upwards of the people. We see the earthquake. You just had one in Mexico, man. 7.1 or 6.9, something along those lines. Tore their asses up. But see, this is what's getting ready to come up is going to tear up the whole world, man. Everyone's going to be pitted against each other. Okay, conflict is going to be in your own household and global government scale, man. Nations are getting ready to be at war. What are you doing to prepare yourself for what's coming? And I ain't talking about how much food you got in your pantry, man, or how deep you dug a bunker into the ground. None of that's gonna save you, man. None of that. There is no escape from what's getting ready to come. It's only one way, and that's either you get delivered or you die. That's it. There ain't no in between. There ain't no. Oh, now I will say this: there is gonna be people that still survive, that live. Okay, those people that are gonna live are gonna be nations that don't get affected by nuclear destruction as much. Okay, but America as a whole is gonna be completely destroyed. There ain't gonna be no soul left here to leave and to get on a boat and sail to some other nation and tell them a story of what happened in America. No. The only people that are gonna be doing that is the elect, and they get beamed up out of here. Okay. Brothers, got any quick precepts?
Ezekiel chapter 12, right to the point, verse 27. Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he seeth is for many days to come. He prophesied the times that are far off.
Yep, and ain't nobody scoffing at those missile signs at the camp no more. Nobody. Matter of fact, we're gonna hold that. We're gonna have a designated sign holder this weekend holding that sign up the entire time. Because what you gonna say now? What you gonna what you gonna do? What? What you gonna do when you see that shit, man?
Right.
What you gonna say? You know, what can you do? What can you say? Is a better question. Because now what's the I forget it. You know, these stupid ass worldly phrases. You know, the something in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding, man. All right. It's clear and evident that what those signs, what those raggedy old beaten down signs that we got that look like they on the last leg, they were telling you something, man. Through the spirit of pride, how about you outside, we were given the ability to have an understanding of the times that were coming in, and really to have an understanding of the prophecies, which the Lord revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And what do the prophets do? They say before. And we've been telling you of this judgment that's getting ready to come before it was coming. Okay? And now we're seeing the pieces in place, man. That was it, Paul?
Verse 28. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord power your house. Watch me outside. There shall none of my words be prolonged anymore. But the word which I have spoken shall be done. So this is what's happening. Like the brother said, it's coming to pass, man. Okay, it was once a time when the signs were beautiful. They were put together. Now it's okay, but things weren't happening. Okay, but now that these things are coming to pass, you people walking over them, scoff and scorn. Now that what you see on the signs, you got to realize that this is the truth. It's being done, man. Okay, and you refusing to accept that, it's going to be your demise, be your destruction. You know.
So I'm going to get a quick couple quotes from this article entitled Russia to Begin Partial Mobilization. And that's a quote from Putin, but that's also the title of the article. It states the measure will apply to members of the reserve forces and those with military experience. So basically, just Putin is starting up a draft. Okay, he's gathering people up to further enhance his military with more soldiers. Okay, and why would you do that if you're not going to war? Okay, especially calling a draft. But it says Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a partial military mobilization during an address to the nation on Wednesday morning. He said the defense ministry had recommended drawing military reservists into active service as the country faces a protracted conflict in Ukraine and Donbass. Says the measure is sensible and necessary under the circumstances, Putin said, considering that Russia is fighting the entire Western military machine in Ukraine. He has already signed an order for the call-up to start immediately. So they're gathering you niggas up over there now, which is going to come to all these nations, man. All these major nations that are going to be in this conflict, like America, all you clowns that laugh and scoff and talk all this shit, a lot of y'all going to be getting called out there, man. And and there ain't a whole lot of Cassius Clays amongst you. I'll say that, because that spirit of manlyhood is gone from a lot of you Jakes, man. And you women that want to be men so bad, you're gonna be sent off too. Don't think we forgot about y'all.
Part T, it says NATO deploys reserves amid Balkan tension. British troops are among those who have arrived in Kosovo. NATO has brought reserve troops to Kosovo for training, increasing the alliance presence in a breakaway province by up to 1,000 soldiers. Military tensions with Serbia simmer. A commander for the bloc said that more could be deployed in the near future. So yeah, that's pretty much that balance. If Russia got to mobilize, troops and from the reserves, hey, so does the West. But that's why the NATO is, bringing forth their troops. So if they go draft over there, they got to draft over here because you got to match those numbers.
Yeah, exactly. See, so If a brother wants to get that in, I believe it's Jeremiah 50 or 51 about a sound of battle is in the land. But see, this is what's playing all around the earth, man, is those drums of war. What you hear now is the nations gathering themselves up, which really is the Lord. Okay? And eventually what this is going to lead to is a battle in the Middle East, because that is going to be the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay, the valley of Yehoshaphat. But right now, the Lord is brewing up the spirits of these men. Okay? But real quick before brother gets that, let me just finish off this. This is a different article entitled "U.S. Taking Putin's Nuclear Weapons Comments Seriously." It says the Russian president had earlier warned that Moscow is ready to defend its territory using all available means. Washington has slammed as irresponsible a recent warning by President Putin that Russia is prepared to use any means necessary to protect its territorial integrity. Skip on down to the end of the article. It says Putin further claimed that several senior officials in NATO states have suggested using tactical nuclear weapons against Moscow's forces and said Russia is prepared to use all means necessary to defend itself and its people. So, what does that tell you? That if these other nations are threatening to use nuclear weapons against Russia, that Russia is going to defend itself by using nuclear weapons. And if last I remember, Russia has some of the most advanced nuclear weapons in all the planet. America don't even got half the shit that Russia got, and they're ramping up money to the government to create more weapons, man. So what do you think is getting ready? What showdown do you think is about to go down? A peace talks? Shit, yeah. There ain't gonna be no safety. There ain't gonna be no compromises here, man. This is it. The Lord is preparing the stage.
No longer tarrying.
You know, the actors are out there, man. The actors are on stage playing the scenes out. We getting ready to come up to the curtain call. That's it. Okay. Get that?
Book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction.
A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction, man. This is what you're hearing on the news. This is why a lot of y'all don't want to watch the news. I had a woman tell me that a few years ago, man. Oh, I don't want to watch. I don't like to watch the news. Everything's so bad. What is supposed to be on there? Well, really, what's supposed to be on the news? If it was good shit that they only talked about, nobody would watch the news. Oh, everything's good. Why do I gotta watch the news? No, some breaking news. Some bad shit just happened. Putin just said this. Biden just sent this over to Ukraine. So this is what you're going to hear, and this is all you're hearing because we're in the last days, man. Evil and only evil has come. Matter of fact, let me get that in Ezekiel 7 real quick. Because, hey, man, there ain't no joyous times coming up ahead, man. This is Ezekiel 7:5. Thus saith the Lord power. I'm reading verbatim. Thus saith the Lord God. And evil and only evil, behold, is come. Okay? Now, this was talking about back then with the ancient Babylon. Okay? But this is again now talking about what's coming in these last days. Because we are entering into a time called Jacob's trouble. We're getting ready to enter into that. And that is not a good time. Not for Jacob and his descendants, and not for the rest of the world. Okay, because if judgment first begins at our house, what shall be of them that don't believe? Okay. Read that again. I think the next verse too.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 22. A sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. I was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken.
Yep, and that's
I was Babylon becoming desolation among the nations.
Yep, and that's going to be the end result of the sound of battle. America being destroyed from coast to coast. Okay? But see, this is what we're getting. This is what we're coming into, man. All right? We're coming into the time of great judgment, a time of calamity and horror. Okay, to put it plainly, for you to easily understand. Those of you that don't know, it's going to be a bad time, man. Evil. All right, you got your president Vladimir Putin. uh, ramping things up. Okay, you got everybody else on alert now. Brother just brought out the article about troops getting was it UN or NATO troops getting sent to certain Baltic regions. Okay, preparing, getting ready, man. Okay, because as the old saying goes, you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Okay. Um, somebody get that in Revelations about the third woe. Whoever had that.
Or at least in 9, verse 12. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
Mm-hmm. And when you go into that word woe, it means destruction. So it said one woe is past, and behold, 2 more woes come hereafter. So we had the first World War, okay? We had the Second World War, and it said a total of 3 was coming. So now we're getting ready to come into this World War III. And we seeing the Lord putting in the spirits of all these different nations to start to come up making alliances. You got certain nations over there in Eastern Europe that are now talking about that they want to vote to join back up with Russia. Donbass and the Lugansk territories. You had a couple other smaller countries also that were saying the same thing. I forget the names of them, but you got nations that are joining, making allies, making groups, which we know that America's allies are going to turn on this bitch. Okay, but for the most part, we seeing these nations come together, making alliances. You got the BRICS nations becoming even more stronger, making more pacts together. Right now, you're about to have a meeting between Putin and Xi Jinping, whatever, from China. Okay. And real quick, the brother Watazawanya put up on the board, comment board, Zephaniah 3:8. Shalom to you, brother Yahweh Shabbat. Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the fray. For my determination is to gather the nations. So there you go, and that's what we see happen. That I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And see, the fire of the Lord's jealousy is going to come in 2 ways, man. The chariots, pursuant to Isaiah 66 and 15 and 16, it's going to come through the chariots, which Yahushua is going to be the forefront of that, and then the nuclear missile. But see, the Lord is gathering these nations up, man. He's preparing them for the great ultimatum, the great day of judgment. Okay? Go ahead, yes.
Iran, basically as they put, to thwart U.S. sanctions, they get ready to join the SCO, which is the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's basically an economy between China, Russia, the founders of China, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Pakistan. Basically, is their own economy to basically circumvent the West. All right, so you got because the war starts, financial and so forth. So you got these allies basically coming together on an economic level and basically on a war level. All right, but Iran just, China and Russia basically bringing all its allies to basically their own economy, so the West can't put sanctions on them. So people choose sides, because it's about to go down.
And real quick too, because that's something that Biden was speaking about at that press conference, that can't allow Iran to get that capability, which Russia's going to be a guard to smaller nations. He also said he don't want to basically set an ultimatum for these other countries to have to pick a side.
Yeah.
But those EU countries, they've been starved out because of the sanctions from what.
And that's why in Revelation 17 it talks about that they shall hate the whore. Because not only are they being affected the most, the America's allies, that is, all right, the EU and NATO countries, okay, not only are they the ones that are being affected more by the sanctions that America's putting on Russia, but it is, America's stirring up trouble to get into another war that they know damn well isn't going to be happening. Well, they think it's not going to be happening in their own backyard. It's going to happen over there in Europe, and those nations are going to be destroyed. No, this ain't 1943. This ain't World War II. This ain't World War One. Now we have missiles that'll go from one country to the other side of the earth. That's wrong. Right. You got countries that have submarines right now undetectable off the coast, man. Okay. You have spies, and this is why America is called the wall of the city of unwalled villages, man. This ain't no real checking on what's coming in and out of this country, man. You know how many spies are in this country from these other nations, man? Okay, because this will be the battle of World War III. This will be the war that's going to be fought here in America, man. Not just here in America, but there's going to be an invasion on America. Okay, the main part of World War III is going to be over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, in the Middle East. But America will be invaded. It will be touched, man. Okay. Yeah, so you got that Revelation story?
Revelation chapter 9, verse 12 says, one war is past, and behold, there come two wars more hereafter. Revelation 11 and 14, the second war is past, and behold, the third war cometh quicker.
Yeah, the third war coming quickly, man. All right. And you see the Lord shortening up the days, man. Okay. Lord is shortening up the days real quick for you people, man. All right. The things are being moved on the earth very quickly, although it doesn't seem like it. All right. But it's moving very fast. All right. Somebody got Joel chapter 3?
Yeah.
Go ahead and get that real quick.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 3. I'm sorry, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations.
Yeah, I will gather all nations, man. Again, going back to that Zephaniah 3. All right. The Lord is gathering these nations up, man. Making these allies, making these treaties amongst each other, these covenants amongst each other. Because and you know that when you start to see things like that happen, something's about to go down. Because you ain't making teams if you're not going to be playing basketball, man.
That's what they do. Yeah. 21, they pick teams. I got him. Because like you said, it's time to play ball.
Yeah.
You know?
Why else do that? You ain't we making teams and then everybody go home. What kind of shit is that? People gonna be looking like, why are we just make a team? If nothing was going down, why we sit here and deliberate amongst each other about what policy we're gonna do with this and how we're gonna handle that, and we got, like the brother just brought out, the whole fact of the SCO agreement. Why would these nations start to join up together? Why are they trying to circumvent certain sanctions? Why are they creating their own digital currencies? Why are these nations buying up gold? You got to ask yourself these things, and making it where they're only making transactions with other currencies outside of the dollar. It's because things are about to go down, and nations are preparing themselves for it. In the case of, if we do win, how are we going to continue society? How are we going to continue our government and continue to be a place where our people can thrive in? So nations have to set things in order. It's only here in America that they really ain't doing shit but setting up to put you people in chains, man. Go ahead on that. Keep going on that.
Going back to verse 2, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the end of this place is really going to start over there, man. That's where That's where the storm is really brewing. Okay, with Iran, with Syria. Okay, because one of the last things that Esau needs to get control of to really get this beast system up and fully running is that oil. He needs to get control of that. And so you have two different proposed plans out there in the Middle East on who's going to provide fuel to the Europe nations. And they got the gas line coming from Iraq, which is for or Qatar for America, and then you got the one coming from Iran. All right, and that's the Russian-backed one. So I believe I forget what they call it, but right, yeah, Nord Stream 2. Okay, so that battle is this is what it's gonna eventually brew over. This is why America's been trying to get into Iran, Syria, right? They've been trying to get into Syria. Yeah, exactly, because that pipeline that Putin got goes through Iran and through Syria out through the Mediterranean. Okay, America's one comes through Qatar. Okay, up along the Israeli coast there and through Turkey and then goes up to Europe. But to get that, to be able to do that, they have to go through Syria nonetheless. So they have to get into Syria. That's a factor, and this is why they've been doing so much shit over there. This is why when you read what is that Joel 2 about his thing shall go up into the air.
Basically, the fowls, Lord, prepare the feast for the fowls.
No.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, here it is. Joel chapter 2, in verse 20 says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army," which is talking about the American military, "and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, which is the Persian Gulf, and the land barren is Saudi Arabia, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, which is the Red Sea, and his stink shall come up because of his wickedness that he's doing over there." All the shit that he's preparing over there for what's going to eventually lead to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And his ill favor shall come up because he has done great things. All right. So this is why Esau's over there, which when you go, where's Qatar? Over there in that Saudi Arabia region, man. Okay. We'll continue on that.
Finishing off in verse 2.
And this is the third woe that this is talking about, man. This is the battle that the Lord has prepared for the last days to judge the heathen. Go ahead.
It says, "And will plead with them there for my people."
What verse are you at?
Verse 2. Okay. Verse 2, it says, "And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations."
Yep. And that word plead is not the Lord talking about the Lord getting down and begging with you people, man. Cutting deals. No, the Lord ain't coming to cut deals with nobody. The Lord is coming to judge, which is that word there for plead, is mashapat. Okay, judge. The Lord is coming to render his anger with flames of fury, man. Go ahead.
Finishing off, it says, "Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land."
I'll skip on down to verse 9.
Verse 9, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up."
Yeah, and this is what Russia is doing. Russia being the guard that's going. He's basically the forerunner for the Axis power, so to say. Let's just put it that, because there ain't well, for the BRICS nations, we'll say that they're the ones that lead the charge in the fight against the West. Okay, and what are they doing? Putin's just calling for a draft, man. So he's waking up the mighty men. He even said people who've been in war before, people with experience, because they're gonna need it. They're gonna need some captains out there. Otherwise, he's just gonna. I mean, that's what it's gonna be being done with American soldiers, man. Y'all just getting thrown out there for to become ground beef. Okay. But this is the Lord is raising up the mighty man. He's putting it in the spirit, like we read earlier. The heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. Okay, he's putting in the spirit of these Putin to start up this draft. And guess what? It's going to come here to America. It's going to come over to European nations. Okay, drafts are coming everywhere to a city near you. Okay. Now the question is are you going to go? And when they present you with that funny money, a lot of y'all will go. A lot of y'all going to be taking off over there quicker than hell. Okay. But the Lord is raising up the mighty men, and now we're seeing it. These nations calling up for a draft. Russia putting it into order. Everybody who's in the military reserves right now, this is what they have limited to is Army reserves, and people who have been in the military prior are being made active. But soon it's going to be all citizens. Okay? All citizens are required to come and sign up for the military. We're at war, which they don't want to call it war now, but this is what it is, man. What the hell do you think going into another country with tanks and men with guns means? Diplomatic conversations? Hell no. Continue on that.
Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
And that's what these nations are going to be saying, man. Why? Because now they have the nuclear capability. Now they're allies with Russia, who has and is supplying these nations with weapons. Okay, so this is what's going on. And you brothers, when you got precepts, go ahead and chime in. You know,
This quick, Revelation chapter 8, verse 13. We're going to the third woe, which is what we read. Revelation 8, verse 13. It says, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. And those two trumpets, the first two trumpets have been blown, it's read. Second one was passed, third will come quickly. Where the third trumpet is getting ready to be blown when it's officially World War III. We already are in World War III. It's just not physically, not physically. It's not pushed mainstream. It's not bullets flying. Which they have proxies, right? But war is far a little different now. Like how the ancient time is flag and they stand a roll. It's a lot more complex, but it's one power against another power. And what the Lord is doing, we're going into the Lord raising up these nations to fight against so-called America that's out up. What Plato said about war is fought about getting money. That's the whole thing's about money, going to gather resources, trying to have control of the land. Because what happens in these nations are jockeying for position, there's no order structure. Who's going to have top seat in this new power structure to come, this whole digital takeover, and that's what China's saying. We up next, they're lying with Russia. It's going to say, and two walk together, except they be agreed. Why they joining together unless they're on the same team? They got the same agenda and thing in mind. It's just what they're going to take out so far in America. But again, going to that Trump, with the Trump being blown, we went to the 7th chapter, and you got the lackadaisical spirit of these so-called Americans. We have no clue what's going on. These other nations, they're really wanting to be praying. They're in the midst of the war right now. They're thinking about, hey, I'm gonna make it to tomorrow. Here it is, going to the land of my unwalled villages. That's why we notice so-called Americans down the grave, because they, again, the mindset of these so-called Americans thinking that, hey man, this ain't never gonna happen with over here. The version of the Babylon spirit, But it's sure going into the third world coming quickly. This is what this is. Not gonna have time to get ready. Again, people here are delusional to the reality of what's going on. But hey man, that sound of war is blowing in your ears. That's why again, people are the Lord blind of death, making death blind.
According to St. Luke 12:49, right? Yahweh speaking, I am come to send fire on the earth. All right, and what will I if it already be kindled? Reduced to NLT, I have come to set the world on fire, and I wish it were already burning. All right, so okay, we're coming into that time where the maximum fire is coming, which is going to be by way of thermonuclear destruction. But it's already being kindled, man. All right, by these wars. Okay, this division. All right, and real quick, just to double up on that. I was right here. Mark 3:26, going into how you have Esau against Esau. All right, the brothers was going into how you have Vladimir Putin, or you have Moab out there, all these nations joining hand in hand, but here on the west, okay, they're coming up against the bear, man. You see? But what is this? This is a vision amongst the house. So we know that they cannot stand. This is Mark 3:26, right? The point that Satan rise up against himself. Right? He cannot stand by having enemies. How Shai showed us how the place is going to go out. And now we are living in the times where it's playing out in the questions. All right, you can see the great division all right, between these two kingdoms, man. And they're the same people, all right, same house, man. So we know that it's not going to be able to stand as in.
Let me get this real quick. The brother Cousin Wayne put it up. There's Jeremiah 51. I'll start at verse 12. The point is in verse 14. They set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Verse 13, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, and that's the point, thou that dwellest upon many waters, because as we were going today in the history class, the Babylonian Empire wasn't as big as the Assyrian Empire that came before it. So when you read Revelation 17, all right, that dragon sat upon many waters. And now we understand that that beast being that Roman system revived back again, okay, spearheaded by America, which is the boy that's rideth upon the beast, okay, is ruling over the whole earth, which the waters are representative of people. So it says, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, and this is the point, by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. And this is what's going to happen to America, man. You're going to be filled up. All right? Yeah, from every side. From every little crevice that you got, you're going to be filled up, man. All these troops, a lot of people going to come into America and invade this whole, man. All right, but that's the point real quick that he brought out there. You have something?
Yeah, book of Ezekiel chapter 38, start at verse 10. It says, Thus saith the Lord power, it shall also come to pass that at the same time the things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought.
Yeah, they're talking about those Medes, man. And this is again, this is talking about them ancient Medes, all right, those from the land of the north. But now, who's in that land, man? It's the Russians, man. Pakistan and Uzbekistan and Ukraine, Crimea, all those nations were ruled at one point in time by the USSR, which now they're getting them hooks put in them, trying to get them lands back. Okay? But see, the Lord is brewing that spirit up in them. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages,
America.
I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates.
Careless, man. Carelessly living a lavish lifestyle, thinking that nothing can bring this to an end. Not an economic collapse, not a hurricane, not an earthquake. Nothing can stop America from continuing and prospering. That's the mindset of these Americans. But lo and behold, here it is. Big Brother Bear on the other side of the world got some shit ready for you. And his homeboys with him. Go ahead.
Real quick, Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. In NLT it says history merely repeats itself. It has already been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. All right, so it's like the brother was going into earlier on how these things or back then, all right, those people. Well, guess what? now it's pretty much reiterating itself, right? Now you have the Pintos, you have these people, all right? Okay, but guess what? It's just pretty much repeating itself. Okay, that's pretty much the point I want to get.
That which is that which shall be done, man. You had these nations at war once before, okay? Just like during the 50s, you had the Cold War starting with America and Russia. Well, now it's no longer a Cold War. Now it's turning into a hot war. Now they're talking about going to war. Now they're getting people out of reserves into active duty. Now they got hypersonic missiles that they know damn well that America's defenses can't stop because they don't even have the missiles to be able to test against their equipment. So how can you create a defense for it if you ain't got the means to test your machines out on? Okay, you don't think China and Russia know that America ain't got no way to stop hypersonic missiles, man? They might try to shoot them out with lasers, but when that when that head opens up and them missiles, them warheads come out, you're pretty much out of gas. There's gonna be like 15 different warheads coming down upon you, man, in different locations, strategic locations. At that, Tampa got one of them marked right on down here in downtown, past downtown. Okay, go ahead. You want to bring out something?
I was just thinking the Lord setting up to where, there's no defense for what is proclaimed against this place. They're so heavy on offense, when missiles start flying, no one really thought about how about trying to stop this bitch when we shoot it. Because the Lord didn't put that in their mind to do that. He didn't give them the spirit to bring that up. And if they do have some type of defense, it's going to be futile. Again, going to these experimental weapons, you can't test against experimental weapons. You got simulations on computers. We never really seen this thing used live because destruction that kind of thing. You can't nerf thermal missile like, oh, let's not make it too powerful. Again, the technology they have now going to Laura Craig and Smith that blow the clothes in the fireman, it's literally to destroy this place. That's the only uses for when the shots blow things up, Weapons of mass destruction, that's what they're called.
And that's their part. That they were the Lord put it in the spirit of those scientists, as the brother quoted. The Lord created the smith for how's it go? The Lord created the smith to blow upon the coals. All right. The Lord put it in the spirit of those scientists to be able to come up with these nuclear weapons for these last days. It wasn't for World War II. It wasn't for threatening each other in the Cold War. It's for these last days. All right. That's what nuclear missiles were created for the end days. No other time, but for these last times that are coming. That's what all these tests were done for. That's why they dropped them in Japan. All that was preparations that were necessary for what's to be done here in these last days, man.
Goes into Job and deceive our heads. These missiles were created to put these devils on a pedestal. So, go around in the world. I got these missiles. You better listen to me. I'm gonna blow you up. Well, guess what? Now the technology has been passed around throughout the earth, and everybody has missiles. So now it's a very peculiar situation because when one missile flies, they're all gonna fly. There's no winning situation besides us if we hope for elect getting bigger, down and shine.
So fast because as the brothers are going through all the information with Putin and the U.S., the whole proxy war with Ukraine, because basically America is at war with Russia. All right, it's just a proxy. Okay, what Putin has been warning NATO, EU, America, basically about coming up, upon his borderlines with missiles, nuclear missiles. All right, Putin has been warned for decades about this stuff. All right, and the point being is that now America is talking about arming Ukraine with long-range missiles. Long range, they said long-range weapons, but they're really missiles. All right, so Putin he's pissed off about that. Okay, which is why he made a demand for a draft. All right, because it's about to go down. So real quick, because there's going to be a draft over here too as well. Right? This is the time. Second Ezra 16 and 18. I'm gonna jump down to about verse 33. It says, "The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, uh, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils." And why the power is going to stand in fear? Because here it is, we just had information. See, everything's lining up beautifully. We just had information about the elites are going to their bunkers now. All right. Amid digital currency. There is no coincidence with war. Okay, so it's all happening. It's all here. So the powers shall stand in great fear. Why? Because that's one thing that Esau Edom fears is nuclear war. All right. You ask any sound Edomite that knows what's going on and has a grip on so-called reality. That's one thing they fear. It's nuclear war. They take that shit very seriously. All right, because they know the devastation that those weapons bring. It says, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine, plague, and tribulation and anguish are sent to scourges for a minute. I'm gonna jump down to verse, get right to the point. Verse 33. Second Ezra 16:33 says, "The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The bridegrooms are the men." All right, now even though there's gonna be a drafting, women are gonna be drafted too, but mainly, all right, when you think about war, you think about the men. So the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Why? Because they're gonna be called over, all right, to the war. All right, they're gonna be destroyed. It says, the women shall mourn, having no husband. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms, talking about their men, be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine.
The 16th chapter.
Yep. So, your men are going to be destroyed in these wars. Okay? As the elder brother required to always say, World War III is going to be the big meat behind it. Okay? So here it is now. You men are about to get drafted. As the brother Barack put it, you got to match those numbers. Putin he's the head of the curve. He just called for the reserves and all this. Hey, it's time.
Get on point.
Get on point. So pretty here soon. Which they might say do some kind of EMP and say, oh, it's the Russians. To basically get people prepared. Like, hey, the Russians just did this false flag or whatever. We need soldiers. We got to go up against them and shit. No, I know how to play out, but it's very convenient for them to say, "Hey, Russia did a cyber attack on the U.S. EMP. We got to go to war with them." And hey, it's time.
Yeah, because just throw up the patriotism like they did in 9/11. Now you got people signing up because we're fighting for our country, our freedom. These, Russians trying to take our liberty, all this other shit.
And Putin, was Joe Biden already been pushing that? Your gas price is high because of Russia.
Yeah.
Your food price. He called it the Putin inflation price hike. Yeah, wow, that's it. That's the correct term. The Putin price hike. So right now, you got some patriotic Edomites that know what's going on, that knows the U.S. government. But for the most part, the mass of the people, like, the Putin price hike. And he's talking about taking Ukraine. So you got people that seed has been planted. And Putin is the reason why our price is high. Now he's calling, we gotta go to war. You're gonna have people, the masses, the sheep, that's gonna go for that Putin price hike. So they're gonna be ready to go to war. Especially they do a false flag and blame it on Russia. Okay, so a lot of people are getting ready to be drafted, and this is the end all be all. Okay, we reach to that we're at the point of no return. Russia is going back down, and America is going back down. Why? Because it's a grab for dominance. It's a grab for resources. So no side is going to take a step backward. All right, the Lord is putting them in a position where it's going to be head-on war, and it can't avoid what's coming. All right, as the scripture says, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. All right. So the Lord's putting them on a crash course collision, so to say. They, they ain't gonna back down.
Like with the precept, the power shall stand in fear. They're scared. And you think about someone with a gun that's scared. That's a dangerous person. And now these nations got nuclear missiles. Ezekiel 38 chapter says that evil thought can come into his mind. We was watching police activity before the class, and you watch all these police work, they're scared of their own weapon. They hear a sound, they're all tense and just start shooting the whole clip. You don't see one officer just shooting one or two, being precise. That's more trained guys, but again, these regular police officers, they're just shooting the whole clip. They might not be hitting nothing, But again, imagine nations with missiles, hear a rumor, some bad intel, and the missiles are fine, bro. And Boone's already being painted as a bad guy. He don't give a shit no more. Yeah, I'm gonna be the bad guy. I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Apparently he's sick too.
Exactly. So the pride, that's the snare. You can't let the pride go. There's no de-escalation from this. It's not the tension's so tight, bro. It's again, it's get to a point where again the process is literally gonna speak for itself.
In the end, they shall speak. Real quick, let me get this in Isaiah 13. Isaiah 13, verse 2, it says, "Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the city, into the gates of the nobles." And this is what we're doing, man. The men of the Lord putting up these videos, all right, in the faces of the elites, all right? And the elites watch our videos, man, right? We do these videos for our people to be edified and Lord will come into this truth, those that are deemed worthy, but also so that to show the elite that, hey, the Lord is waking up. The Lord is waking his people up, okay? And we exposing you, devils, all right? To see, for the longest time, these devils had reign over the earth through secrecy. But now they're losing that power. So they gotta try to shut the truth out. They gotta label it as misinformation to try to gain back some type of power over the exposure. It says verse 3, "I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have also called my mighty ones from my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness." Okay? And we understand that the Lord is the Lord of hosts, meaning the Lord of armies. And so the Lord is controllable, is in control of all these nations' militaries, as well as their weaponry. All that belongs unto the Lord. All these nations' militaries, all the weapons that they have, this is all a part of the Lord's army. Okay? So this is the Lord, this is what the Lord is going to do here in verse 4. This is talking about missiles, which is a part of the Lord's army. It says, "The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, and tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together." Right? Think about this, man, in ancient terms. You're you join allies with all these different nations, and you're going to war with someone, and you're walking to where you're going to go to war, right, to the battlefield, and you're hearing the chants. You're hearing the chants of the nations, and then talking and their footsteps. It's going to sound real scary, loud, rumbling, high, all types of noises happening. Well, this is the noise that these missiles are going to be making. Everyone's going to hear them. Everyone's going to feel them before they hit. Okay? It says, "The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle." So you see, and this is the Lord preparing these things to happen. Right? He's preparing the battlefield. He's the one that's putting in the spirits of these people to beat the drums the war drums, right? All right. It says they come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Okay. So they're coming from the other ends of the earth, man. All right, these missiles. They're coming from Iran, from the European nations. They're coming from Russia, China, the sea, okay, from the air. All right. They're coming from everywhere. All right. from all your allies, all those that were confederate with thee that have deceived thee. Oh, they're coming from every single place that you didn't think, and every place that you thought or that you knew was those missiles could come from. All right. It says, "How ye for the day of the Lord is at hand; it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid; pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames." And this is the thing: is Wisdom of Solomon talks about these people being amazed at the strangeness of our salvation, but they're also going to be amazed at the strangeness of their destruction, because they would have never thought in a million years that their way out the door, their way to kick the bucket was the missile blowing them to smithereens. Not even dust, man. They would have never thought that. I thought maybe I would trip down the staircase and die, or maybe I should die of old age or get hit by a car, but no, a missile? Damn, what the hell? That's it. But,
Yeah, they thought that, nuclear destruction, yeah, it'll come, but I'll be long, long and gone.
Right.
And that's what everybody think. I'll be long and gone when that shit get hit. But nah, this is your time, man.
If you watch a football game as an upstate, you see the crowd reaction. Everybody's shocked. That's a good picture. Like in some chapter, it goes into it. Understanding about salvation. Salvation goes into reaction to people when they see what's happening. Pretty distraught, bro.
That's gonna be a hurt feeling. You see men getting beamed up, missiles coming.
Yeah.
Lord willing, we the men, but man, dog. You see men getting beamed up in the chest, and then the missiles on their way. Boy, you know how hurt your heart gonna be, man. Jeez.
That's what to say.
You got
Wailing the national peace.
yeah.
Right? Angel spirit. They seeing this, it's like gonna fuck with their mind. Right before they death.
it says there in verse 8, "And they shall be afraid; pains and sorrows shall take hold of them." Pains and sorrow, man. Your head gonna be hurting like hell. You're gonna have an instant migraine because your ass is so stressed out. Oh, hands on your leg. Ah, your woman is screaming. What do I do?
Why you melting?
You need to hurry up and get to the bunker. They're saying it on the TV. Bitch, we ain't getting there in time. What's wrong with you? Don't you see that clock? That shit say 2 minutes left. We're done. Might as well go ahead and start doing what you need to do. But hey, man, see, this was getting ready to come. We laughed at it, man. But even we're gonna be afraid when we're in those chariots, man. We're gonna be standing in fear and watching the destruction, man, because we're gonna be saved at the last second, man, at the last trump, which is the missiles. Okay, that's when the elect is gonna be delivered. Lord will be those men, right? By the hair of our teeny sins, man. We're gonna escape this judgment, you know. But the rest of y'all, your ass is grass, man. And we played last week, the lawnmower, man. Don't cash a check that your ass can't cash, man. That's what you people have done, man. You see, especially here in America, man. These are starting from top to the top, from the top to the bottom. You people have wrote a check that you knew you could not cash. You thought, I'll be okay. Before it bounces, I'll have the money. No, it's time to pay the piper, and you ain't got the money. You ain't got the way out. You ain't got the. You're not covered by the blood, which is the only way you can be bought out from the destruction, man. All right? Yes.
Matthew 24:42. Watch, therefore. So we got to be on our watch, more like, we never been, because this is the time. Okay, all the distractions of everything of the world, shit's moving fast, man. Okay, and we in September. What, 3 months left of this year? All right, and then Biden already signed a thing for digital currency to take place in December. January 1st, they say the purge, the purge laws, and then around about February, March, that's when the stock market collapsed in '08, '08, '09, going to '08 from '09. Okay, so we in some we in some serious times, very tense times. So Yahushua through the Spirit is saying Matthew 24:42 because the first verses he already warned us what we're going to see in these times. I'm already at the 42nd verse. Okay, so the first verses he's like, hey, this is going to be happening. That's not, so all these things is happening. So through the Spirit, what he's telling us, watch therefore, but you know not what hour your Lord does come. That's why we gotta watch. Yes. Yeah, because things can change at any point in time. All right, and you wanna be up to speed. You wanna be privy to things that's happening. All right, when Putin was in that same office as I watched the video, said when he was gonna go into Ukraine, he's gonna so-called invade Ukraine. He was in that same office. Well, now that pre-recorded video is he in that same damn office. Like, look, this isn't a bluff, man. This is happening. This is this is about to take place. So he ain't bluffing. What he said he's gonna do, he's gonna do, man. And you see the spirit on him. You see the Lord. The Lord is that angel is just breaking that code in his mind, just putting everything in his mind that needs to happen. All right, he's gonna press. Hey, whatever happens, man, he's gonna press that button. Okay, it says, watch that, for you know now what hour the Lord does come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known, and that which the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready. All right, so we gotta be ready as that good man. Okay, they got the hit like, hey, somebody's gonna rob your house. But we got the hit. All right. We see they trying to at the same time that this current monetary system is crashing inflation. At the same time they're erecting the digital currency. All right, so we got the hit like, hey, it's coming. Okay, it says but notice that the good man, it's like verse 44. Therefore be ye also ready. So we got to be ready. Okay, it says for in such an hour as he think the Son of Man coming. It's like it's such an hour you think not the Son of Man coming. So everybody, you know, oh, the pandemic is over. Gas is alright, like 330s, 340s averaging, but regular that is. Okay. Pandemic is over, everything is good. But behind the scenes, how many people are aware that, especially Americans that who's ready to go to war, man. He's called for a draft. Like, you still stuck on Queen, what is it, Queen Elizabeth? Yeah. The second. You still stuck on that. Well, we at the brink of a nuclear war. It says, "Who then is that faithful and wise servant?" So the patience, being faithful, waiting, and wise, using wisdom to get to discern the times. Like, hey, this is it. It says, "Whom his Lord has made ruler over his household to give him meat in due season." We come into that season, the reward, because through as Elder Tahar said recently, he said the missiles is going to be the transformation of the kingdom of heaven. So that's how the kingdom of heaven is going to be transferred onto us. When the missiles drop, we're going to transition right into the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be this kingdom being destroyed, this kingdom being broken down. And Jerusalem's going to come down. Exactly. So just that's the point, man. Spirit is watch. Continue to watch, man. Stay on it. Because things are moving fast. Listen, we only got like 3 months of this year left, man. This is it. They already said 2023 gonna be the year of hell. It's all lining up. It's all making sense, man. All right. Something major is about to get ready to take place. Lord willing, we out of here next year. Beginning next year. Shit, Lord willing, we out here end of this year. Who knows? But it's close. Okay. So don't get distracted. my brother from LA, he did a video exactly. Don't get comfortable. All right, these devils, see, they got the third temple over there. You know, Amalek talking about they building a third temple. They finna do a sacrifice.
Okay.
You know,
He gonna be the sacrifice.
yeah, bro. It's gonna go down, man. It's we in that time, like all that BS and all that stuff. You look, we in a time, man. This is it.
Galatians 12. Devil coming down, you know, that time against these elites. They're pushing their agenda. They're Putin, you know, they're funding America because they want to build the Guidestones, the population down 500 million. You know, how you think it'll happen? You know, nuclear war, that's what they want, you know, they're trying to play out to their favor. Watch it because we got the war. These niggas gonna lose, bro. They're gonna go in slavery. And just like over that, like overnight, you know, that war gonna be turned upside down. Righteousness, you know, and their faces, double faces. When they're in the bunkers and looking sick, you know, getting wrapped up and put on a chair to go to slavery. It's real life, you know. The times don't get stranger and stranger, but best believe it's in the scriptures. You know, that's why we have comfort, understanding. But we have to remind.
Okay, so Lord's with us, verifying. Real quick, a quick point, like the brother was just saying, watching. Scriptures also say the kingdom is already prepared for thee. Watch. The kingdom comes after the destruction. So if the kingdom is already prepared for us, all we have to do is watch. Then that means the destruction is already prepared. We just have to watch. Okay, so continue to stay vigilant, stay diligent, and keep it pushing, man. Because we almost home. This ain't gonna be a couple years later. This is gonna be very soon. Okay, Lord's will. So hey, Lord's will is edifying. We want to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, the barns of the elders, apostles, great millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out his truth and his truth and sincerity. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.